Nvidia did it again, had amazing earnings, and that was to be expected. Let me know down in the comments below if you thought Nvidia wasn't going to have good earnings, because that would surprise me. Nvidia tends to have good earnings, and then what does it do? It usually sells off. And that's exactly what we saw at 4 p.m. when the market closed. If you were watching it, about 5 minutes after 4, you saw Nvidia start to pull back, and I could say like crash, right? It closed around 209, I believe, and it went all the way under 205, I believe, and then it started to go up, right? And it was around, I believe, 5 o'clock when we got the forward guidance, when the CEO spoke, and since we got great forward guidance, finally after earnings, we got a spike. Now, that was after hours. We'll have to see when the market opens on Thursday, August 27th. If this continues to go to the upside, but we went all the way from the 205 area all the way to 220. And then the last time I checked, we were around 218. Now, again, by the time you watch this video, those numbers may be different. It may be higher, it may be lower. Well, but that's what, when I'm making this video, those were the numbers that I saw last before I started recording. Let's go a little bit over the numbers. I got them up here. The company generated 96.22 billion in quarter revenue, more than doubling from a year ago. While adjusted earnings came in at 2.22 per share, both ahead of Wall Street expectations, and Nvidia is now forecasting 108 billion in revenue next quarter. That's big. These are big numbers. But here's the question investors really need to ask, right? If Nvidia is already one of the most valuable companies in the world, has does Nvidia still have opportunity in it, right? Because some of you may be watching this video and may not even have Nvidia in your portfolio, but you may be thinking, hey, should I go ahead and add this? Now, some of you may be watching this and you bought Nvidia a long time ago and you're up quite a bit. Even though there's a lot of people saying that the Nvidia share price isn't really moving, I don't agree with that because I bought this stock about a year ago. Okay. And believe it or not, it was trading about $100 a share. There was a moment where I saw it under 100 and I bought some shares to bring my cost average down, but my cost average is about 100. And right now it's trading over 200. So I'm up handsomely from where I got it. Do I believe there's still opportunity in Nvidia? In my opinion, yes, I do. Now, a lot of why you don't see the share price about 250 or higher is because a lot of people have concern in the future. Can this company continue to grow at these rates, produce these numbers in 2027, in 2028? That's a concern. And I think that's why NVIDIA hasn't gone up like a rocket, like some people would have liked to see. But in my opinion, I still believe it's gone up quite handsomely from where I got it at. And I think there is still opportunity in this company. I think it's a great asset. So I do believe NVIDIA is a buy. I believe there's more room in it. But now, again, that's just my opinion. I always have to share this. I cannot tell you what to buy, hold, or sell. I'm just sharing with you where I think there's opportunity, what I think it's a great asset. And remember, investing does carry risk. So that doesn't mean if you invest in the stock market, you're going to make money. Investing carries risk, and you also need to do your homework and your research. And even by doing that, sometimes we get it wrong. We don't always get it right, but we look to get it right more than we get it wrong. And if you can do that, you should be able to be on the profit side and on the losing side. And that's what it's about. But let's get uh back into Nvidia's earnings here. So Nvidia reported approximately 96.22 billion in quarter revenue, up more than 100% from the prior year, right? The adjusted earnings came in at $2.22 per share, beating expectations of roughly $2.09. But the number that really matters is NVIDIA's data center business, right? We want to see how that's doing. And the data center revenue reached approximately 89 billion, up about 117% year over year. So it's up by a large amount. Think about that for a second, all right? NVIDIA isn't just growing. Its largest business is generating revenue on a scale that would have seemed almost unbelievable just a few years ago, right? A few years ago, nobody would think that NVIDIA is putting up these numbers. And this is why NVIDIA's story is still so important. The company isn't just depending on gaming anymore. The biggest growth engine is the AI infrastructure. And you already know some of the customers, the big boys, the Meta, the Amazon, the Alphabet, and there's even more. And if you've been watching the big boys' earnings, you've seen that they've been spending enormous amounts into these chips in Nvidia. So I believe that, again, by these earnings, by the numbers that we're seeing, and by how much these companies are investing, that the AI infrastructure and Nvidia and the chips and all that is here to stay, and it is going to be part of our future. So I want to be an investor in these things. I don't want to be the one that misses out, right? So I definitely have Nvidia and some of these companies I just mentioned, Microsoft, Meta, Amazon. If you've been following the channel, if you're a subscriber, you know I'm in these companies too, right? If you have it, these are companies that we use every day. Who doesn't go on Google on a regular basis? Who doesn't check out and buy stuff on Amazon, right? These companies, I believe, are going to be here. And if you don't have them on your portfolio, I believe it's going to be an opportunity that you're missing out. Now, I can't tell you to go ahead and buy these stocks, but I'm just sharing my opinion that I think these are great assets to have, that I have them in my portfolio. And I think that's going to help with the years grow my portfolio to the next level. And hey, that's what it's about, right? We want to buy great assets, see it work for us, and then eventually one day not have to count on a 9 to 5 and be able to do more of the things that we like. And that may just be buying your time back, right? And choosing what you do with that. So that's what it's all about when it comes to investing, is making good choices, getting in the right assets, and hopefully change your lives in the future, right? So if that is something that you want to do in your life, then hit that like button. Let us know that that's what you're about. Now, the guidance. Now, that's where I think this is the most important. I think that's what saved the video, because you saw right when the earnings came out a little after 4 p.m., what did the stock do? It sold off because investors already knew that we were going to have good earnings. What saved us was the future guidance. And I say this in a lot of videos, so you're going to hear this many times. A lot of people sometimes when they see earnings and they should see beats, they expect the price should go up. But that may not always be the case. If you see the price go down, usually it's for a reason, right? So I suggest if you're ever following a company and had earnings, in this case, it can be Nvidia or any company, and you see it sell off, do some homework, do some digging, because there's probably a reason. A lot of times it's future guidance. Remember, if we're going to invest in a company, we're investing in the future. So if we don't see that that company is going to continue to grow, and we see slowdown, we see things in the future that could hurt the company, make the company prevent it from growing. We don't want to take our hard-earned money and dump it into something that doesn't look like it has a bright future. So guidance is very important. I believe when management got to speak around 4:30, and then when the CEO spoke around 5 and really emphasized on the future guidance of the company, I think that's what helped it, boom, take it all the way up to the 220 area, right? And that's really why we're probably going to see Nvidia run. I think when the market opens on Thursday, August 27, I think this thing is going to even run higher. Now, I could be wrong, right? We could get a sell off. So don't just go in there doing, calls or puts or something like that. Just, gotta see what the market does. But that's just my opinion. The guidance is very important. Just always remember that in company. Nvidia projected approximately 108 billion in revenue for the next quarter. Huge. That will put NVIDIA into an entirely new category of growth. That's what we want as investors, right? We want to see growth in the company. Benny, a company with more than 100 billion in quarter revenue while still growing, that's extreme. That's crazy, right? Look how these numbers, and investors rarely see things like this, but NVIDIA is doing it. The guidance came in above roughly 104.9 billion. Those were the estimates by FactSet. And according to NVIDIA's leadership, demand is still running ahead of what the company can supply. So there's a lot of demand still. That's what the management team's telling us. That's what we're seeing on these earnings numbers. So the future, I still see gas. I see opportunity for this thing to go higher. I see opportunity for us to see this thing around $250 a share or more. Now, that's just my opinion, because the biggest question of NVIDIA investors isn't whether AI demand existed last year, right? We already know it did. The question is, does the demand continue into 2027? And like I said earlier, I believe that's the biggest concern when it comes to Nvidia. Investors are concerned, can this company continue to grow at these rates, continue to produce these numbers? And a lot of people think eventually it's going to slow down. Some people are trying to get ahead of it, and they're thinking it's going to be in 2027 or that may be in 2028. And I think that's really what's held the price from going a lot higher where it should be. But remember what I said earlier in the video, I got this thing around last year at $100 a share, and it's been skyrocketing. Actually, I keep saying last year, I'm going to go ahead and go in my portfolio because sometimes I get my time mixed up and I don't want to be giving you the wrong information. So let me see when I bought my first share into Nvidia. Let's take a look here. I'm gonna find that date for you, because even though some people on YouTube and stuff like that may be saying, "Hey, this thing hasn't moved that much," in my opinion, it has, and it's helped my portfolio go to the next level. So let's see the first time I bought this thing. Yeah. So I bought this in 2000 towards the end of 2024 and the early 2025. And you were able to pick this thing in the low hundreds. There was even a moment that was under $100. And for it a little bit over a year to be $100 more a share, that's an amazing return. And for those of you that may not have in your portfolio, like I said, I think there's still room to the upside. Now, I can't tell you go ahead and buy it. Always know that I could be wrong. It's important to always do your homework and understand that investing does carry risk, but investing is the way to build wealth. So if you're doing your homework and you're making the right moves, you should be seeing some gains. But remember, nothing's guaranteed. If you enjoyed this video and you're still here to the end, then do me a big favor, smash the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you want to join the community, we're looking to build wealth, we're looking to grow our portfolios, and we're looking to change our lives, then consider joining the Patreon. I got a description box. I got some links in there if you want to check out, including the Patreon. So check that out. Again, like always, thank you for your time. I value your time. Thank you for watching the channel. I appreciate every one of you, and I'll see you on the next video.